everyone. Welcome to the second session of Public Finance. I am Jyotis Maria Franklin. Today we will be learning about asymmetric information, then market failures, what are the important causes of market failures, etc. So first of all, let's start with asymmetric information. What do you mean by an asymmetric information? Asymmetry means it is incomplete, right? Symmetric and asymmetric. So asymmetric information is also known as information failure. So there is some failure in the information transmission. Asymmetric information occurs when one party to an economic transaction possesses greater material knowledge or information than the other participant. So asymmetric information, it actually happens when one among the participants in this or in a particular economic transaction or a trade, he or she actually possesses some greater information or some greater knowledge than the other participant. So obviously there will be two players, right? Two participants, at least two participants, buyer and seller. So when seller has some higher information, greater information, okay, seller has some more information than the buyer, then that is a case of asymmetric information. Okay, information is asymmetric, information is incomplete. There is a failure in the information transmission. So asymmetric information actually exists in certain deals or certain situations with a seller and a buyer, whereby one participant is able to take advantage of the other participant. So asymmetric information happens when one participant or one party in a particular economic transaction or a particular trade have some important knowledge or information, more information than the other party. That means one party is taking advantage of the other, or one party is actually exploiting the other's ignorance, right? Others' information failure. So this is all about asymmetric information. One of the very important example of asymmetric information is the Lemon's problem. Okay, is the Lemon's problem. So Lemon's problem, this is an example actually given by George Akerlof in 1970. He has worked on a paper that time, and the paper was the market for lemons, quality, uncertainty, and the market mechanism. So before that, you have to know that George Akerlof, along with Michael Spence and Joseph Stiglitz, in 2001 jointly received the Nobel Prize in Economics. Okay, and this was for their major research on issues related to this asymmetric information or the information failure. So that was in 2001. But in 1970, George Akerlof in his paper titled The Market for Lemons, Quality, Uncertainty, and the Market Mechanism. So in that paper, he actually dealt with this example of asymmetric information. So lemons is actually a derogatory name. It is actually a name for a poor quality used car, a poor quality second-hand car. So we know that for any second-hand good, be it car or anything else, for used second-hand goods, that is used goods, there will be differences in quality, right? The quality will be, they can be high quality products, they can be low quality products, they can be average quality products. So the quality differs actually. Okay, so lemon is actually the name for a poor quality used car. Lemon is actually the name for a poor quality used car. So George Akerlof in his paper, he actually suggested this example. That is, he said that, or in his paper, he examined that how the quality of goods traded in a particular market, for example, the used car market, second-hand car market, they can degrade. What can degrade? The quality of such goods traded in the second-hand car market can degrade in the presence of information asymmetry, because of asymmetric information between buyers and sellers, and leaving only lemons behind, leaving only the poor quality products behind in the market. So in the market there will be ultimately only poor quality products. So that is what he said about this lemons problem in his paper. But we have to know about lemons problem furthermore. That is, he explains in his paper that suppose buyers cannot distinguish between a high quality car and a poor quality car. Okay, buyers. So there will be two parties, buyers and sellers. Buyers who want or who are willing to buy this type of second-hand products. In our case, it is second-hand cars, and sellers who are selling different kinds of second-hand cars. Okay, so buyers, they cannot actually distinguish between a high quality car and a poor quality car. So poor quality car, used car, is known as lemon. Okay, so buyers cannot distinguish between a lemon, and high quality car is actually known as peach. Okay, in the paper it was known as peach. High quality used car is known as peach, and low quality used car is known as lemon. Okay, so buyers cannot distinguish between these two quality cars, that is high quality as well as low quality cars, but they are willing to pay a fixed price. They have a fixed price in their mind. Okay, they cannot distinguish between this high quality or low quality car, but they have a specific price. They have a fixed price in their minds, and that price is actually the price of an average quality used car. Okay, so it is neither the price of high quality used car nor the price of low quality used car. It is actually a price for the average quality used cars. So this is actually the fixed price, the price that is fixed in the minds of the buyers, because they actually cannot distinguish between the high quality car and the used car and the low quality used car. So they actually fix a certain price in their minds, and that is actually the price of an average quality used car. So what happens with this price? This price that the buyers fix in their minds is actually lower than the high quality used cars, but is higher than the low quality used cars. Okay, so the price that is in the minds of the buyers is actually lower than the high quality used cars and higher than the low quality used cars. So for sellers it will be profitable to sell the low quality used cars, sell the lemons, because if they sell the lemon, they will be getting more profits, right? Because the buyers are already willing to pay it as in a fixed price, at a fixed price, that is the price of an average quality used car. So it will be beneficial, or it will be profitable for the sellers to sell the lemons, because they will get more profits, because the price that the buyer is willing to pay is actually greater than the original price of the actual price of the lemons. Okay, so ultimately what happens is that the sellers will be knowing whether that product, whether that car is a peach or lemon, whether that car is a high quality used car or low quality used car. The sellers will be knowing that. So there is asymmetric information, right? The sellers are knowing some information that the buyers do not know, right? So given that fixed price at which buyers will buy, sellers will sell only when they hold lemons, right? And they will leave the market when they hold peaches. So the sellers who are selling lemons, sellers will be selling different quality products, right? The sellers who are selling the low quality used cars, they will be getting more profits. Okay, they will be getting more profits, because the sellers who are selling the high quality used cars, it is not at all profitable, because the buyers are only paying the price of an average quality used car, right? So it will not be profitable for the sellers who are selling the high quality used cars. So they will eventually leave the market, because there is no demand for their products. So what happens? The market will only have low quality used cars or lemons. Okay, the sellers will be selling only low quality used cars or lemons, because that is profitable for them. Okay, So this is all about the lemons problem, and in this paper, in the paper of George Akerlof, he shows how prices can determine the quality of goods traded in the market. Okay, how prices can determine the quality of goods traded in the market. So what happens? Low prices actually drive away the sellers of high quality used goods, right? Low prices, they actually drive away. Okay, the sellers who are selling the high quality products eventually have to move, right? Have to move from the market, have to leave the market, right? Have to leave the market, leaving only the lemons behind in the market. So as I've already said, in 2001, Akerlof along with Michael Spence and Joseph Stiglitz, they jointly received the Nobel Prize in economics for their contributions to asymmetric information. So this is all about lemons problem. And two important aspects or two important situations in which asymmetric information can happen are adverse selection and moral hazard. Adverse selection and moral hazard. Okay, so what do you mean by adverse selection? That is the question. Adverse selection is a market situation where the buyers and the sellers, they have different information. So of course, asymmetric information. Buyers and sellers are different information, so that a party, that is one party, might participate selectively in trades which benefit them the most. Okay, at the expense of the other party. That is, one party will trade with respect to or by taking advantage of the other party, because one party will be having more information than the other. Of course, the party who is having more information will be taking advantage of the party who does not have any information, does not have any additional information. So there is exploitation. Okay, right. So there is exploitation. Such a situation or such a market situation is known as adverse selection. Okay, the participant who is having more information will be participating selectively in trades. Selectively in trade means he or she will be participating only in the trades which benefit them the most, which benefit him or her the most. Okay, so that is the situation known as adverse selection. One important example of one important field that where adverse selection happens is insurance. Okay, insurance. Because due to this adverse selection, insurers, they will find the high risk people. Okay, they will find the high risk people and they will ask to join for the policies or premiums. Okay, that is, high risk people means what? They have some high risk. For example, a person who is smoking, a person who is a smoker, a person who is alcoholic, they have a huge risk to their health, right? They have huge risk to their life. So what happens? These people with huge risk or high risk, they will be willing to join this insurance. They will be willing to take insurance, and also they will pay greater premiums for policies because they do possess high risks. Okay, so that is one aspect where adverse selection happens. There is an example, as you can see, high premium will be charged for those who smoke because they do possess huge risks. Okay, and low premium for those who do not smoke because they don't have much risks to their life as compared to that of a smoker. Okay, as compared to that of the life of a smoker. So this is all about adverse selection. And then there was moral hazard. Okay, second situation is moral hazard. In a moral hazard situation, one participant entering into the contract or agreement, he or she provides misleading information. Okay, misleading information, or changes his or her behavior after the contract has taken place, after the agreement has been made, because he or she believes that he or she won't face any consequences for their actions after all. That means there will be an agreement. Okay, at first there will be an agreement like insurance or something. There will be an agreement, and after entering into the agreement or after taking the insurance, the party, the person who have insured his or her life or anything else, he or she changes his or her behavior. His or her behavior. Okay, you can see it in some example, like the example is given there. That is a car driver who, without any insurance. A car driver without any insurance. He or she doesn't have taken any insurance. Okay, so a car driver without any insurance, he or she will be very careful while driving because he or she does not possess any insurance. So whatever happens, it will be, the cost will be or cost should be borne by the driver itself. Driver himself or herself, right? But when that driver has insured, okay, an insured driver will actually take risks. He or she will be planning to, or will be okay to take risks, will be all right to take risks, because the cost is not actually, the full cost is not actually borne by the driver himself or herself, because there will be insurance company to bear the cost, right? The insurance company pays for the accident and not the driver. So this happens in the case of moral hazard. That is, when a person or an entity does not bear the full cost of a risk, then he or she, or they may have an incentive, or he or she will be encouraged to increase their exposure to risk. They will be actually all right to expose to risk, right? Exposed to risk. So that is all about moral hazard. So now we have market failure. In the last class, we have already seen like market failure, the term was mentioned actually, and we also said public goods is a very important cause of market failure. So now let's look at more in a more detailed way. Okay. So market failure refers to the inefficient distribution of goods and services in the free market, right? So market failure refers to the inefficient distribution. Goods and services are inefficiently distributed in the free market. So during market failure, when a market failure occurs, there will be a state of disequilibrium. There will be a state of disequilibrium. Either supply or demand will be deficient or surplus. Okay. So that happens in the market. And when there is a market distortion, that means when there is any problem in the market. Okay. So the causes we will see in the next slide. Anyway, market failure actually reflects in the failure of government policies, because the government will have taken very important policies in order to remove the market distortions, in order to remove the problems that happen in the market. That will be by creating some price controls, controlling prices or subsidies, etc. Anyway, there will be some policies by the government, and if market failure happens, it actually reflects the failure in the government policies. Okay, that is important. And then we will study about the major causes of market failure. Actually, we have already learned about some of the major causes of market failure. That is public goods, we have already seen. Then market control means monopoly power, the monopoly power, abuse of monopoly power in the market. Then there will be externalities. We will be dealing with externalities in a very detailed way. And imperfect information. Imperfect information is asymmetric information. We have already seen that. So these are the very important causes of market failure. They are public goods, then market control or monopoly power, then externalities, and imperfect information or asymmetric information. So these are the other causes of market failure. 4 of them we have already seen. They are externality, then public goods, asymmetric information, abuse of monopoly power, etc. There are some other causes as well, and these are incomplete market. Incomplete market, when the market is incomplete, when supply is huge than demand, or demand is actually more than supply, such things. Okay. Then there is common property resources. Okay, common property resources or common pool goods, they cause market failure. Then underproduction of merit goods. Underproduction of merit goods. We already know what merit goods are. So when merit goods are produced insufficiently. Okay, when there is insufficient production of merit goods, like the demand is not actually met. The whole demand is actually not met. So during such situations, there will be market failure. Then overproduction of demerit goods. We know that demerit goods, they are socially undesirable goods, right? They are socially undesirable goods, and when these goods are produced more than enough, okay, when there is overproduction of demerit goods, market failure can occur. Okay, then there are environment concerns. It also leads to market failure. So these are the major causes of market failure. Very important causes among these are externality, public goods, asymmetric information, monopoly power, etc. And there are some other causes as well, which you can see here. Okay, so we will also learn about externality and we will wind up this session. Externality, I've already said what an externality is in the last session. Externalities actually occur in an economy when the production or consumption of a specific good or service actually affects a third party who is now directly involved in the production or consumption of that particular good or service. So, externalities occur when there is production and consumption of a particular good or service which actually affects, which impacts a third party. A third party means he or she is not directly involved or related to the production of production and consumption of goods and service, that particular good and service. So, this is all about externality, and externalities actually result in market failure. We have already seen externality as an important cause of market failure. This result in market failure because a product or services price equilibrium, a product or services price, it actually does not reflect the true cost and benefits of that product or service. So that means a product or service is actually produced and consumed. It is having its own price. The price is determined in the market, but there can be some effects of that particular goods or services consumption or production, and it can actually affect a third party. Third party means who is not directly involved in that production or consumption of that particular good. He or she can also get affected, and this effect can be either in a positive way or negative way, either a benefit or a cost. Okay, so this is also there. This aspect is also there, which is not actually included in the price element. Okay, price element of that particular good or service. That's why externalities result in market failure. Okay, so externalities are of two types, positive externality and negative externality. So positive externality actually it leaves an external benefit. Okay, it leaves a benefit or a good effect, a positive effect to the third party who is not directly involved in the production or consumption of that particular good or service. For example, education. Education is a very good example of a positive externality. Then there is negative externality. Negative externality is actually the cost. Okay, cost that is actually lying upon the third party. Okay, third party who is not directly involved in the production or consumption of that particular good or service. It is actually a cost. It is negative effects. Okay, negative effects that happen on that third party. So one important and common example is the pollution, that pollution from motor vehicles. Okay, pollution is a very common example of externality. Okay, so this is all about externality, and in today's session we learned about asymmetric information, then externality. In the last class we already studied about public goods. So these all are causes of market failure, and also we learned about what a market failure is. So the rest of the session will be carried out in the next class. Thank you.